you've got a point there, but still, that's messed up. That's terrible news.
And that is actually a great segue to the next story, which I just happened to catch on CNN.com.
Okay.
And we talked about this actually, I think maybe on our first ever podcast we did together. Goes back to the Ebola epidemic.
No.
A 26-year-old man who is an Ebola survivor is quarantined in India after his semen tested positive for the virus. Almost 2 months after he was hospitalized.
Oh, God, you know what? Ironically enough, I think, yes, we did talk about Ebola, I believe, in the first podcast, but I'm pretty sure in either the second or the third podcast, we talked about condoms and random things like that. So, hey, we're combining two different types of things there. So his semen still has the Ebolas.
Correct. Remember, we talked about that, and I said, there would be no contact at all.
Right.
For a long time.
Right.
This is why. He got released from the hospital on September 30th with all the documents declaring him free of Ebola, and now his sperm is still coming up positive, or whatever they call it. He's still got Ebola in his semen.
Okay. Does this article reference this person by name? This poor sap? I'm not going to go into dad mode with this guy, but...
I do not see a name. I can tell you he lives in India, so probably, I don't think anybody around here has to worry about it.
Okay. Sanjay? Sanjay from India. George.
It's George.
Oh, it's George.
Well, he probably does tech support, I'm guessing.
Okay. George.
Time Warner.
My name is George. How may I help you, please? Anyways, George or Sanjay, whatever your freaking name is. I got a little piece of advice for you right now, okay? And I am in an advice-giving mood. I just hit up Charles Manson's broad a couple minutes ago, and I'll give you advice. Ready? Pull the microphone closer. George, since your semen is contaminated, go to gearnetwork.com/Amazon and buy your condoms through there, and then use them to trap the mess. That way you don't infect anybody, and you don't breed.
Nobody's gonna have sex with that guy.
Maybe Charles Manson's chick might.
Of course, in India, I think it's against the law to say no, so.
I don't know.
Anyways, let's just wrap that story up. And apparently this woman took our advice a little bit too seriously, because not everybody has Ebola sperm. This woman was hospitalized to remove a deer tongue that she decided to use to please herself with. Apparently didn't realize it was in there, goes to her gynecologist.
Wait. A deer tongue?
A deer tongue lodged inside her.
Okay.
From Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Went to her gynecologist complaining her discharge had a very bad odor. Her doctor performed a typical exam, checking for several different issues, and didn't find anything until the pap smear results came back. And then when he went in and examined further and he pulled out a piece of decaying flesh,
oh, Jesus Christ,
then realized that it was some type of an animal tongue. The lady went on to confess to her husband, who was a hunter and had brought home a deer to gut it, or whatever it is you call what they do. And she admitted to seeing the tongue, admired its length, and had snuck off with it to use it, and she didn't remember leaving it up there. So, to all you ladies, when you use the deer tongue, you gotta remember to take it out when you're done.
How do you not know that something is stuck up your vajayjay?
I don't know. I mean, wouldn't the better question be, how do you decide to use a deer tongue to please yourself with? Because, I mean, if you're doing that, then who knows what I don't know what would.
Oh my God, using a deer tongue on her vagine, and then she gets it caught in there. She gets it in there and then doesn't realize it's in there. I'm guessing that it's probably, the traditional throw a hot dog down the hallway type thing. It's got to be, because it's...
I don't know what that means.
That means she was loose. Loosey-goosey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's a whore.
So, yeah. Anyways. Stay classy, Arkansas.
Okay. Yes, Arkansas. And then from... You know what? We'll close it off with this. We'll move from Arkansas to Florida, where a birthday breakfast went wrong, and it resulted in a Gainesville man's arrest. A Gainesville man was arrested this past Sunday morning after police say he poked his girlfriend in the eye over not getting his birthday breakfast request. James Irving got into a fight with his live-in girlfriend over his birthday present and preferred celebratory breakfast, according to a Gainesville Police Department booking report and information provided by the GPD spokesman, Officer Ben Tobias. Irving wanted pancakes, and Dawn, instead he got waffles.
Oh, that bitch.
So to express his disdain, Irving decided to poke his girlfriend in the eye, which prompted a call to the police department. Irving was then handcuffed and taken to a county jail on a misdemeanor battery charge. On Monday morning, the jail staff served inmates a breakfast of fruit, grits, sausage, bread and butter, and according to Sergeant Becky Butcher, he enjoyed it.
Did he get pancakes?
He did not get pancakes.
I mean, in his defense, how hard is it to make a damn pancake? It was his birthday.
Hey, listen, the rent is too damn high.
Instead, she had to pull out some Eggos and stick them in the toaster.
Did she pull out the Eggos from her vajayjay? Like that buffalo tongue or deer tongue chick?
I don't know.
Thank you, Arkansas. Thank you, Florida. Cue the music. What a week, Dawn. What a week. A week of hate. Hate, 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 hate. You know, as I was going through the funny Florida news there, that one of the things, and I should have mentioned it, but I guess I'm mentioning it now, is that there's a 100-year-old woman.
Yeah, I was a little disturbed that you sent me that story. I don't know what you're looking up that you find a 100-year-old woman who's belly dancing, or why you think that that's something we would want to talk about on the show.
Because it's
John,
part of the thank you.
Want to know that.
It's part of the thank you Florida thing, because Florida brings us so many gemstones. But in any event, Dawn, thank you again for another successful, wonderful week. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Let's get into the specifics. This is a copyrighted podcast of the Gear Radio Networks, and any rebroadcast or reproduction without the express written permission of myself or Dawn or the Gear Radio Networks in general is strictly prohibited. Tune in this week for a fresh new Better Live Than Dead podcast with Ryan Wolfe and Mr. Perez. Next Monday, the third and final part of the Chip Stetson interview on the JC Money Show Uncensored. And then Dawn and I will be back next week with more fun, more news you can or cannot use, more sarcasm, more ball busting, and probably more F7 for unnecessary censors, right? Or necessary censors, right?
Right. Good night now.
Good talk, Don.
Oh, 2 weeks in a row.
Oh.
2 weeks in a row.
All right, 2 weeks in a row. She stole my end. This is John Cimino for Don Cimino saying so long, everybody.
Good night now.